Okay, now we're going to have to, we just did an interview with Mike Skill, so we're going to have to help you guys out here. This is www.arkansasshowcaseradio.com show, so we got to warn you that this interview could lead you down some mental path. I don't know. Mike is a great guy, but he wonders where we don't really know.
But yeah, he's with the Romantics. Mike Skills, other Romantics, fantastic songs.
Yeah,
but we now know why he kept the songs very simplistic.
Yeah, you'll see it. Now we try to keep him on track, but he wanders off. So we're giving you a preface to what to expect when you watch this video, because we weren't expecting it. And man, I tell you, it's a trip. So you guys, hope you guys enjoy it. If you like the Romantics, What I Like About You, songs like that, they're great music. He's a great guy, but holy crap, you're in for a ride of your life. You guys might want to take a pen, pencil, and take notes.
You're gonna know a lot more about Mike Skill from the Romantics than you did 6 hours ago. So.
But anyway, it's coming up right after this, and we hope you enjoy it. I mean, it was fun. It was tiring.
And thank you, Mike.
Yeah, but we hope you enjoy it. Mike Skill from the Romantics. He formed it, the band, leads guitarist for the band. He wrote most of the music for the band. And
I'm exhausted.
I'm exhausted too. I know why the band's not there anymore.
I'm gonna take a nap now.
But anyway, stay tuned. We're going to do some other interviews coming up, and hopefully they have more detail. Not more detail. We don't want any more detail. We want simple interviews. But anyway, we'll be back. This is www.arkansasshowcaseradio.com. And also check out our YouTube page. We got like 30 or 40 videos of celebrities on there. Outstanding. So stay tuned. We'll be back. And hang in there. It's coming up right after this. Bye-bye. Okay. So what's up there, Mr. Man? You survived COVID-19 and everything. You should be good.
Well, surviving, yeah. Vaccinated and, the normal stuff, stay, places that have air moving and eat outside. Eat outside at a lot of cart places, and there's a lot of food carts in Portland. It kind of started here, I think, in a way.
Yeah.
We have a lot of really good food.
In front of people again?
What's that?
Does it feel weird to be in front of people again?
Yeah. I don't know. Yeah, a little. Not in the normal stuff we do now, but in crowds. That's in anything more that's really close. That feels weird.
You owe me $5 because we had a bet right here that you were going to pop up wearing your red leather suit.
Yeah, what was up with that?
Well, that might fit my son. He's probably half the size of me.
Because that's what we like about you, Mike.
Well, that's what I like about me too, but I don't fit in that. I ain't fitting in that so good these days.
Well, that's all right.
I'm a healthy, not overweight, but healthy, in a healthy spot.
That's called chunky.
Yeah, a little bit. We walk and cook and do that, but we still, we eat good food.
Now, of course, Mike, with Romantics fame, do you still have those suits anywhere? Do you still have a?
Oh yeah, I have a lot of that stuff. I have the first orange suits, that orange iridescent suits that we did at the first show. I have a lot of the vinyl stuff that came after all the clubs. All the clubs were so hot, and the suits like jackets like this would fall apart because this is silk or whatever it is. I don't know, or whatever it is, but
well, you're just bragging.
They would fall apart because they were from resale shops. And after one show, they'd start ripping and smelling, and so we had to go to vinyl. So we went to white vinyl, red vinyl, black vinyl, and actually polka dot vinyl pants, little polka dots.
So what does your kid say about that when he sees those old videos?
What's that?
What does your kid say when he sees those old videos of you?
There's no videos of that. there's pictures, but no. My son's an artist. He understands all the projection of a look and what's when you're trying to create a sound and a look and image and that kind of thing. He understands that.
Now,
He's a
when you
really great photographer. He's a great graphic artist.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
Now, when you guys started, what really got you started? We always ask people this: was it the love of music? Was it for money, or was it just to pick up girls? Is that what started the band?
No, well, it started way.
Yeah.
It was way before that. It was way before that when I was probably I come up really young in the late 50s. My brothers were older; they were teenagers, so they had all the records, all the 45s, and I was watching. I would see Ricky Nelson with James Burton playing guitar, who is the best, and I always wanted to watch that. And then anytime anyone playing music, I really enjoyed it. And so my dad was, we listened to. At the time, there was only country radio. Rock and roll was only played on the weekend, I guess, on this little station, and that's about it. And my brothers started listening to records, the doo-wop records, and then Elvis and the doo-wop records, and Buddy Holly and Jerry Lee Lewis and all that. And I was really little, but I remember hearing about Jerry Lee Lewis getting into trouble, and
You said, that's what I want to do right
I
there.
want to get in trouble just like him.
yeah, his second cousin. No, not for me. But and then things like the fraternity bands came out, like in between Elvis, Jerry Lee Lewis. Elvis went to the army, and then before the Beatles, there was bossa nova music was on the radio a lot, all that kind of cha-cha-cha stuff, the real lightweight stuff. And then a lot of fraternity bands were playing around. So Kingsmen, they were a fraternity. They played all the fraternities and that. The Kingsmen, early Beach Boys kind of stuff, surf music. That was a lot of bands played the fraternities at colleges, and they were getting little record deals and doing their own records. And then there were soul bands in Detroit. There were soul bands, a lot of soul groups like doing James Brown and Otis Redding. And then Motown came around when I was 9 or 10. Motown, I was right there for the beginning. Shop Around by Smokey Robinson. So I heard the early days of the Motown stuff and the latter days of the 50s rock. And I'm young, but it's seeping in, It's like, I'm a little kid doing the Elvis knee shakes and on the beach with, my parents laughing and all that. But, and then, the Kinks, Animals, Rolling Stones, and of course, Beatles came up, and I saw that, and all the girls were going nuts at school the next day in the gymnasium. But
That's
I wanted a guitar. Yeah, I wanted a guitar then. I wanted a piano before that. And I started banging. I had drumsticks, and at school, a lot of the guys were joining the Boy Scouts, and I was never in the Boy Scouts until I saw they had a marching band. So I wanted a snare drum so I could practice at home, and so I joined to play in the marching band, and that lasted about a month and a half or two, and brought the snare drum home, and learned Satisfaction, the beat to Satisfaction by Stones, and thought I was going to be drums, but I learned a beat, so I got the rhythm, and I knew how to listen. I knew how to listen to a kick drum, a snare, and a hi-hat, so I was getting something there I didn't realize. And a lot of the girl groups were happening around then too. The Ronnie Spector and all those guys, all those groups. So it was great music, like all the way through up from when I was coming up. So it's a lot of things. It was a lot of the look of the whole thing. Elvis, the look of Buddy Holly, then the Stones, and then the raw sound of Louie Louie. That was a big thing. Louie Louie for me, the solo, the guitar, and Louie Louie, and then of course the Beatles, Stones, Animals. I loved Eric Burdon and the Animals, and
So were your parents?
and I wanted a guitar. My parents got a guitar. It was a cheap old Japanese guitar. My brother got one. I got one. I played his because his played better, and his was a used one. Mine was a new one, but it played like crap. So I played his, and I had a little band. I started a little band, the High Tide, named probably after the Rolling Stones, High Tide and Green Grass, because we love that record. And
so your family was pretty supportive of you doing the music?
what's that?
Your family was pretty supportive.
Well, yeah, they did. Yeah. Yeah. It just
You don't
was
sound very confident there.
until I was in the basement with Jimmy on drums, Jimmy from Romantics, in the early before Romantics. We were in high school, just getting into high school, ninth grade, and we rehearsed in my basement. And they're trying to watch All in the Family, and Jimmy's on drums, and we've got all our amps, and we're playing in the basement. So
Like, shut up, your
right
brother.
above us, yeah, yeah, but they put up with it, and I feel bad now, but
No,
I was on a mission. We were on a mission, so
That's
mission
true.
from God.
All the Family comes on reruns. You can watch it later.
Yeah. Yeah, that's right.
Well,
And yeah, so that's how it started. I mean, the colorfulness of it. The Beatles were like it was a new streamlined thing. Everything in the 50s was kind of baggy and heavy and wool coats. And if you look at old Ed Sullivan shows when they show the audience, everybody looks really it looks like, wow, it looks funny because it's as the Stones and Beatles and everything was streamlined coats and color and that kind of thing. So
after you got the band started and everything, what do you think? Because we always hear most bands say, "Hey, luck. You can be talented, but you need luck." Do you think that happened with you guys getting started? When you had your first big hit, was it luck or was it just hard work?
Yeah. Well, you make your own luck. It's there to be had. But you just gotta nothing was going to stop us. There was no wall, no door, nothing was going to stop us. So we just kept moving forward. And I'm assuming you're talking about Romantics because I had quite a few bands before that.
And the Romantics.
Yeah, Romantics, and before that, I with Jimmy, we had a rehearsal studio on the east side of Detroit. After a lot of bands, when they started getting going and out of high school, they would get these storefronts and staple the egg cartons on the wall and foam, and it'd be soundproof it, but it's not very good soundproofing. But when you get this foam, this thick foam, and it'd be like walking in a cave. But we'd go there and we just we set our Marshalls up, and I had big bass amps and stuff. I was playing bass at the time. I learned guitar first. Taught myself guitar one summer, about the 8th or 9th grade, 7th, 8th, 9th grade, right around there. I was about 14 and 13, 14, and so you go through high school and you're bashing it out. I had this little band. We're in the basement. I met Jimmy in high school, and we just started messing around, kind of messing around. Then we ended up playing Notre Dame High School in Detroit. I think it was Father Bryson used to have these rock and roll shows. Ted Nugent played there, and then the little bands would play around the other side. And then down, it's like a gymnasium, and then this other cafeteria area. And we played the little cafeteria area, and then we go over and see Ted Nugent playing in the early Amboy Dukes days, when he was in a band that actually played songs that you could actually sing, and melodies.
had a melody. Yeah, exactly.
Really great. They were a tight band. I mean, he had the best musicians. He's a great guitar player.
That was before the loincloth.
What's that?
That was before the loincloth.
Yeah. When that happened, he played Denby High School. They were the enemy of my school. They were like the opposition football team. We had Finney High School on the east side, and he played the auditorium over at Denby. I forget who opened up. I think it was a band called Target, who was a really good band at the time. But those guys joined another band you guys wouldn't know about. But Nugent played, and he pulled out the rope, and this is the first time we saw him. The loincloth goes from one side of the stage to the other on a rope. And we look at each other, we were kind of over it, at that point. We didn't really want to see, we didn't want to watch that, but so we went to his music of the Amboy Dukes. Migration is a great record. It's all songs, and his early stuff's really good. And he had one of the tightest bands, keyboard players, incredible Hammond keyboard players, the bass player, Gregor Rama, Farmer on singing. Anyway, so that was like the groundbreaking thing. The Notre Dame, we played there, and then we just stuck together. We got the little storefront. We'd go there with these other guys that we played with, early on, and we'd like to write songs. We just, we didn't really have a singer at the time. We would do some singing, but we wanted to get a lead singer. And the thing was to have like a young Rod Stewart or Jim or Mick Jagger, which was never going to happen. But, and until.
Uh-oh.
Man, he's very still.
He's very still right now. He's frozen in the moment.
We lost Steve. Oh no, the last interview that we'll ever have happened. Could you imagine a young Mick Jagger?
Oh, yeah.
Mick Jagger ever young?
He was skinny. I don't know about that. The young part.
I think it,
Oh, he's coming back.
But,
He is. He's back.
oh, see, she's got it figured out. When in doubt, always bring the women.
Yeah.
That's what I have to do. I can't do anything technology wise.
Oh.
So it's us again.
Well, then we'll just wait and see if he comes back here.
I still think it had to do with the hairdos.
Oh,
They're
my.
very high.
Yeah, it was. It was way up here.
I guess for me though, any hairdo's high.
Yeah.
Wow, your hair's high.
He's like, I'm coming to get you.
I just don't understand. I mean, he says he learned to play the guitar.
I know. I've been trying. It's not happening for some reason.
But you, how do you do in yours? YouTube videos?
No, I just mess around with it. Make my own songs.
How do you know if it's right or not?
If I like it, it's right.
Is this a new sound, new music?
Then I gotta give me a slide. I mean, I love the sound of the slide because it's easy. You don't have to worry a chord, just slide it up and down. So I use this. Look, that's what I use for a slide. I'm so cheap.
Shot glass.
Yeah, that's a big shot glass. I mean, but I wonder if he's coming back.
No.
Well, we'll just wait around here and see if Mike comes back.
How do you? I just don't understand. So you play a.
Uh-oh. Mike Skill. There he is. Will he come back? No.
No.
Oh, he's teasing us. He's teasing us. I got Ty in there for a minute.
But how do you? I still don't get it.
Well, these guys amaze me. Well, I'm just going to go and play in a band. I'll just learn drums. Oh, I don't like that. I'll just play guitar. What the hell? Oh, bass. I'll play bass there. I'm like, golly. I
couldn't even do a tambourine.
That's why you're over there. What is this? Cheeky, cheeky. I hate this thing.
I just don't know.
Uh-oh. Mike Skill. He's trying. Are we gonna see it?
Got every
There he is. Mike is back.
Yay!
What's going on here?
Yeah, our connection here has been all over at our house and also here. Crazy.
We've been talking about you.
It's that darn
Yeah, sorry about
COVID-19. It's bad on the internet.
Anyway, so we had these what bands had these storefronts, and we learned how we had one ourselves, and we'd get together every day after work or whatever, and go from like 6 till about 11 o'clock at night and just jam. We just jam and write songs, learn how to write songs, and we came up with a bunch of original songs. And a lot of bands would play the lounges or the clubs or the bars. And it was all cover bands. So it was all cover. And we really didn't want to do that. We were looking to New York and London and LA, where you had like, you had the Ramones were coming out at the time. Ramones. And I was telling you about this, Lou Reed. When Lou Reed happened, we got the idea that, yeah, we could do simple songs and sing as well. It was like more DIY, do it yourself kind of vibe.
So how did you do that? That's what we were talking about when you lost connection. How do you just learn to play the guitar? Did you just listen to other songs and just strum?
Okay, yeah.
You didn't have YouTube back then.
Yeah, well, what happened was the first little guitar I had, which was really hard to play. A neighbor across the street was in a touring band, like a touring soul band. When he came home, he showed me a couple things. He showed me "Green Onions," the song by Booker T and the MGs. So it's just like a couple notes. So I'm learning how to pick and finger the fingerboard, and so that takes a while. But then I kind of set it down because that guitar was so hard to play. We moved to another neighborhood, not far away. And
They had easier guitars.
well, well, there was another set of musicians. Other set of musicians. Each neighborhood had like this other group of musicians where you could learn songs off of. And anyway, so I had the one guitar of my brother's.
Still your brothers, yeah.
Yeah, they all my brother, and he played a little bit, but I told myself I was going to learn that summer. So after I got out of school for summer break, I learned to play guitar in that one summer around 1965, 66. So I just taught myself from listening to like the band 13 Floor Elevators. They do "You're Gonna Miss Me." It's a really simple song, and it goes.
You can. That is pretty simple. It has no.
So it's real simple chords. So I was teaching myself just all those open box chords. So I did that, and from that I would learn Rolling Stone songs because those are simple. Satisfaction, you know. So all these real simple songs, and that's
real
how.
simple.
Well, yeah, really simple, but that really kind of molded my kind of writing to be real simplicity. Really, 3 chords in a verse, or 2 or 3 chords in a verse, or depending on what I want to do. But I can get a little more complicated. But I always tried to stay with the beat, with the groove that the drummer laid down, and then always think in terms of a melody and a chorus. The Romantics always wanted to have people that came to our show, they'd go home singing our songs, of course. So we kept them really simple. If you listen to the first record, the choruses are really simple, and it's like a throwback to Buddy Holly, or throwback to Beatles or Hollies or the Animals. Easy choruses and simple but really energetic music, really in your face.
Now, where were you? Let's say once you finally did get a contract and everything, where were you when the first time you heard some of your music on the radio?
Well, there's a couple times, because before we got the album deal, the LP deal, we had a 45. We put our own 45 out. We went to in Detroit. We got together as the Romantics. Me and Jimmy had been knocking around with different guys all over Detroit, and I mean all over within our studio. We never, we stayed in our studio. We didn't play the bars. We didn't do the bar scene. So we were writing and creating. And then we actually recorded on a 4-track or something, our own songs, our own stuff. But as we went along, Romantics came together. I went and saw Wally. I had met him before, a couple of years before. Me and Jimmy were just in this group that went to New York. We were in the Motor City Rockers, went to New York and played CBGBs. We had this little group. And prior to the Romantics. And we drove all the way there, and truck broke down, and we met Sylvain, some of the New York Dolls and other guys, and came back home, and it broke up. But that year I had met Wally before, and I heard he was playing somewhere and doing some show with some band, that he had like a doo-wop 50s group with a sax player and girl singers and stuff, backup singers. I went there to the school, climbed up, looked in the window. I didn't go in the show, but climbed up, looked through the screen in the window, and I go, oh, he's pretty good. He's pretty good on stage. And then I climbed back up again. Oh, it sounds pretty good.
You're a stalker.
Yeah, I was a stalker watching his show. I think I didn't want to, if it was really bad, I didn't want to have to say it was bad. But he was all right. I mean, you could do, and so I went back and I told Jimmy I saw him, and the drummer, and So I told him I think I'd give him a call, see if he could come by. Because we'd been through all these guys. We tried to get a singer. We want someone like a Raw Jagger or Iggy or Rob Tyner from the MC5. And guys, I'd call them up and they want to do Steely Dan. And so that was, it was like, because all that whole yacht rock was happening at the time, but California rock, folk rock. And
So how old were you at this time?
what's that?
How old were you at this time?
Probably, it started around 18 years old to about 21, 22, 23, right in there. That whole 5 years there. We were knocking around, playing around at our studio and just going to clubs and seeing bands and really soaking up bands like Mata Hoople. We went to see Mata Hoople, T-Rex, and Roxy Music. We'd go see it. Iggy. We'd always go see Iggy and the MC5. And a lot of Detroit bands. There's all the Detroit bands, Susie Quattro, all that stuff we used to go see. And that stuff seeped in, and we wanted to do original stuff. We wanted to get a record. We wanted to get a record and have, but so anyway, I checked out Wally. I called Wally. He came over, and we kind of jammed, and it felt good. And at that time, there was a girl that was singing with us. She was going to be a lead singer, Dee Detroit. And she was really raw, like an Iggy guy, like Iggy chick. And so it was really out there. Kind of a New York-y kind of underground vibe. But that fell apart. And right after that, we just went 4-piece with Wally and Rich had brought, Wally brought Rich over. I had invited Wally over. So it stuck together and we started writing songs right away. And within a couple of months, we had a set of original songs because we wanted to do. I saw the Jam had come out, the Jam and the Ramones and New York Dolls and all that stuff, and so we wanted to do. Let's see, the Jam came out. They were like the Who. They were like they had this look. The look was a skinny tie, the real tight jackets, or the real skinny tight pants, and the black and white shoes. And really mod looking. And then there was a band called the Flamin' Groovies, who I still love. And they were like a Stones meets a kind of Beatley kind of San Francisco band. They're from San Francisco. And they had a record coming out, and it was done by the guitar player. Produced by, I'll have to think of it. Oh God, I can't think of his name. The guitar player. Anyway, it sounded like the Beatles. It was like Beatles Kink record.
Oh, cool.
And I heard that when I saw the ad for the Jam and the Melody Maker, and I heard that album. I brought it over to Jimmy, and I go, "This is what we need to do. We should do this. This is our vibe. We have been messing around with all this other heavier metal stuff, kind of like we do earlier days. We were doing like it'd be like Zeppelin or really kind of more of a raw heavy metal kind of stuff." But before heavy metal, but so we wrote a whole set of songs. My friend came over who was in a band earlier, played guitar. He asked us if we wanted to come to open for MC5 was getting back together, a rehash kind of, two guys, original guys, and they're playing a gig and they wanted us to open. So they came over, they listened to us. They said, "Yeah, you could do it. Come on over and come to the show." And we did the show, and we got, what happened was we had this cool set that we were just kicking ass. And short songs, short hair, skin and tight clothes, and open for the MC5. And they had, it was what did they call it back then? It was a showcase for their band. They had radio, TV, all the press was there for them. And we kind of stole the thunder because we had this new look, and we had been looking at New York, LA.
Ourselves.
They still kind of looked. I mean, they were great. I mean, musicians, and they rocked, but they looked kind of like 1970s. So we kind of had that new edge. And from that, we got asked back 2 weeks later to play with Mink DeVille at this club, and we played with Mink DeVille. And then we had these managers. Our single was coming out, so that was the first time I heard a single after we played that first show. The guys at the radio station, FM radio station, played Tell Us to Carry.
That's cool.
Now when you finally had your first big hit, what I like about you. Okay. So that really put you in the limelight. Did you start touring at that time? Do a lot of touring?
Well, we were already touring, even before What I Like About You. And we had jumped after those two shows. Our management that we had got us on, talked to the promoter in Detroit, Gail Pereno, and someone else. But the booking, promoters in Detroit, they did all the big shows. Steve Miller, Peter Frampton, and Jay Giles were doing a show at the Pontiac Silverdome, and they got us on that show.
Oh
So
man.
we're talking about when Jay Giles came on, there's probably 60,000 people. When Peter Frampton came on, it's probably 80,000 people. When we were on, it's about 7,000 people at 6 o'clock. But that's the biggest show we ever played. I mean, before that, it was like 50 or 100 people, right? Third show, 7,000 people.
That's
at
awesome.
Pontiac Silverdome with our skin tight suits and with our I think we had red vinyl at that time. We might have red leather, but
And your very tall hair.
well, at the time it was really short because the look got more exaggerated as the stages got bigger. So as the stages got bigger, you have to run around more, you have to move around more, you have to sing it, you have to express yourself more, and so you have to look has to be more dynamic and more out there. So the hair got a little more, and the
Now, about how many shows a year were you doing?
well, this time we're opening, before we got a record deal, we're opening for Cheap Trick, Ted Nugent. I think we Talking Heads at the Cleveland Agora. We played there a lot, and a lot of bands would get opening shots. We do opening, so we're going out of Detroit like every month. We're on the road a lot, and we kept going to New York, and then we finally got the record deal through playing clubs in New York with Nat Weiss, who had Nemphora Records. But we had also got noticed by CBS and Capitol. The first single came out on Bomb, but that was a demo tape we had done for Capitol Records.
Oh wow.
And I can't think of the guy's name over at Capitol at the moment. But Dave Edmonds is the guy that produced the Flaming Groovies.
Oh.
Dave Edmonds, great guitar player, out of England. And anyway, so we had been playing all over the place. Cheap Trick heard us, and we got asked to do shows with them. We met Bunny Carlos, and Bunny Carlos, he would collect bands, pop bands, rock bands, young bands that were out and around the United States. He'd get the cassettes, and he loved collecting those cassettes of these rock bands, like the Nerves and like the Real Kids out of Boston, all these bands. And we gave him a tape, and he gave it to CBS. So we talked to CBS Records, and we didn't sign a deal with them right away, but Nemphora Records, which is an independent record label, was independent. They were an independent of Epic Portrait, which was a independent of CBS. So we were an independent of an independent. And he gave us a great contract. We withheld all our publishing and all that, and we were on our way. And that's when the first album, we went to Miami Beach and recorded the first record in North Miami.
Now, since you're rockers and everything, we used on the tour and everything in the hotel rooms. Did you ever throw a TV out the window into the swimming pool or anything?
Well, we did knocks on the door and there was noise, but at that time we were sharing two to a room. So two of us in a room, we share a room. Or even in the early days, I think at one time we checked into a hotel to record or play in Florida. And the crew, the band, the management were in two rooms. I mean, we had people on the floor, people on the rollaways. So yeah, you move up as you go. But yeah.
So now, the band name Romantics, where did that actually come from? Did you?
Well, we had a few different names. We had a few different names ideas, but the story I tell is the way I think it happened. It's my thinking is. Cream magazine was a rock and roll magazine, and they had a section in it where it was more underground stuff, a little pull-out section, and there was an interview with Roxy Music, and Roxy Music was one of our before Romantics, we were kind of steering towards like a Detroit rock and roll version of Roxy Music, kind of like Duran, only more rock, Detroit, and with a good look, because we were definitely into the clothes and the look and the hair. And this article, Brian Ferry's talking about music and art and lifestyle, and he's talking about romance, the romanticism, like, over the, hundreds of years ago and coming back up in art. And he's talking about romantics this and romantics that, and romantics and poetry, romantics, and, there was a new romantic thing back then. And I think the drummer saw that. And he, since we dug Roxy, it's probably stuck in his mind, or he wrote it down somewhere.
That's cool.
And we had the Backbeats or something like that, and we had some silly names like that, the something like that. And I can't remember them all. And he suggested romantics, and we had a show like the next day, so we had to decide that night.
That's awesome.
Yeah, that's good. So we went with it.
Now, I mean, I know that you went into this thinking you're going to be the next big thing. You have to have that mentality, but you're 45 years into this, and they're still playing your music now. Like The Weeknd just did it at the Super Bowl, and all that. Is that just still amazing to you? To still hear people?
Yeah. I have to explain, but we did Madison Square Garden with Cheap Trick. Madison Square Garden. Oh my God! After the first album. Then I think we did it with Adam Ant alone, us and Adam Ant.
Wow.
I think it was, and that was later with Talking in Your Sleep, and then Radio City Music Hall. Incredible. The places we played. In Houston, one New Year's we played in the late '80s. We played with Heart on New Year's Eve at the Houston Astrodome. All these little, I can't remember them all right now, but over time, it comes back to me. But were you saying, what was the question you were saying? I'm
just saying, is it still just kind of hard for you to imagine that even 45 years later, people are still recording your songs?
Yeah, the last 20 years have gone by so fast. And with romantics and that. And luckily over time, I've gotten to my own writing more in the last 10 or 15 years. And I completed a lot of songs in the last couple of 3 years. I started really completing. I completed my own songs with romantics, and then I started writing more and more, and that's why I can release stuff now. With the pandemic, I was lucky because I had these songs recorded already.
That's
cool. I gave them over to Chuck Alkazian, great producer over at Pearl Sound in Detroit, Pearl Sound Studios, and he took them to the next level. I had basic tracks I did in my other studio. Then I have this studio I do I'm just starting to get recording in here more and more. My son's been engineering, and I'd send the tracks to Chuck, and he put them. Oh man, he made them sound so good. And
now let me ask you this: since all these people have been doing your songs, I know that earlier in your career, you had a problem with your royalties and receiving the monies that you.
Yeah, when you first start out, like I've been explaining, you want to do your own music. You want to get on stage. You want to be in front of people. You want to be, you have the spirit and the energy and the drive to do it. And that's all you're concerned about. And when we started with our own little storefront, we're paying for it. Then as we've got a manager and we're doing a few shows, those shows aren't really covering it, and they're covering it. And it kind of got into a thing of they're covering things, paying for things, the gas, the truck, the equipment. And so it becomes a normal thing of them taking care of everything. Wow. And then when the money starts rolling in, there was no cut of that tie where when we got the record deal, it was like, all right, now we got to set up. Okay, you got to have the band's accountant. You're going to have the management's accountant. You're going to have the band's management, lawyers, and you're going to have manage. It never did that. It never split off. So they were taking everything that was coming into that one account. Ouch. And so we were getting disbursements, but we weren't getting the full, we weren't getting the full money. And that went on, and then we ended up in lawsuits all through the 90s for 10 years. Okay. And then the same thing happened again with a guy later on after that, and in a different way. He was helping us reclaim stuff from the original management. Wow. But as he was reclaiming, he was doing some of the same
Oh
stuff.
God!
Oh man.
Gee.
Yeah, and it's about trust and hoping that people are going to take care of you the way they're supposed to take care of you.
Well, how about
Uh,
now? Are you getting royalties?
Yeah, I get my my royalties now. We're just working on publishing and stuff like that. We're still clearing the air on a lot of other little things.
So
But,
what's
we've had
happening for you now? Are you going to start touring again, playing Romantics music? Or are you going to go out on your own and start touring during your own?
It's going to be a combination of the two. Romantics, I'll still be doing romantic stuff with Romantics when there's stuff going on. We've got a few things coming up in September. And then I've got another thing I'm going to be doing, which will be a nice little surprise coming up in the next few months. And then I've got my stuff I'm doing. So I'll be doing.
I think we've heard about that surprise. I think it kind of leaked out because we've been hearing a lot of rumors about what your next venue is going to be, and that was going to be
the gangster rap.
Yeah, we heard.
Oh yeah. Well, I just discovered this new soul station on FM on Sirius. No, I'm being serious though. I did. Last night I discovered this really more grown up soul music.
He's
But
on.
I love the 70s soul. The 70s soul and Motown was the best.
Now,
Um,
I had to ask you because I watched a lot of your videos and stuff before this interview. Now, when you was on American Bandstand,
Yep.
now how did you guys were lip syncing, right? Because the drummer had no mic, so that kind of gave me the clue that
Yeah. It was just really loud PA in the room where the crowd is and where the chart and all that is and the dancing. It's a really big sound stage. You get there at 7 a.m. after being at the bar till 2 a.m. But hanging out. But we were young, very young, and 20s, in our 20s. But yeah, it would be a really loud sound system, and he could actually play a little bit. I think he may have had some kind of a cloth or something on the snare. I'm not sure if he put it cardboard, but you would really just fake it. Yeah. And
is that hard? That seemed like that'd really be hard to do.
No, it's not really hard because you're doing the song. You've been doing the song after you recorded it. You recorded it in the studio, pre-production, recording, then on the road, and then you come in and do it. You just go back and listen to it and okay, here's what I got to do. And the shot moves around a lot. So if you mess up, sometimes they don't catch it because they're on someone else. So
Because I was watching, I said, "Hey, that drummer has no mic, so this must be lip syncing."
yeah. Well, Dick Clark and his wife, they did a really good job, and it was like kudos to him and his wife and the whole production of that thing. He discovered a lot of real rock and rollers back in the day, a lot of black doo-wop groups and Italian doo-wop groups and black rockers and Little Richard and all that. Way he was one of the guys that kept it going, and it was a treat, a pleasure, and an honor to do that show. After all these
He's with Don Cornelius and Soul Train too, so that's kind of cool.
Yeah, it was really cool. I mean, Elton John was on there, and one other. I don't know. We were probably the only two white artists, I think, on that show, maybe three. But they were so cool, and it was at the studio was at the Charlie Chaplin had his movie studio had A&M Records there where they recorded bands. What's his name? The horn player. I can't think of his name. He owned A&M Records. He moved that into Charlie Chaplin's movie studio, and then they had Soul Train was at the Charlie Chaplin movie studios with at the Charlie Chaplin movie studio, which became A&M Records, which was A&M. So it's A&M Studios in LA.
I just think it's fantastic. I mean, you've had
it was really cool.
Incredible,
really great.
career, incredible music. I hope you continue to keep putting out those hit records. If someone wanted to know exactly where you're going to be, what you have going on, what's the best way for them to find it? On your website?
MikeSkill.com. I've released I've released 7 songs in the last year because we wanted to just keep something going. And I released 67 Riot, which is a Detroit song about the Detroit riots in the 60s when I was a kid. I have Wayne Kramer on guitar on it. I did Carrie Got Married, which was written by Brad Elvis's wife. She wrote that. I wrote the guitar parts. It's a tribute to Tell It to Carrie from the Romantics. It's like another song, and I have another one that's going to be locked in with that. So 3 songs about Carrie. And then Not My Business came out, which got a really great response in Europe and England and the States. It's kind of a Stonesy song. And then My Bad Pretty and We Got Your Rock and Roll came out last couple months ago.
Cool.
And now I just brought out So Alone. So these are all on Spotify and all the Apple Music and all that. All the outlets, all the streaming outlets.
Now, let me ask you something.
MikeSkill.com. You can get them at MikeSkill.com as well.
Now-
Bandcamp, all that.
Now, let me ask you something, Mike. After this interview, obviously you're going to want to write a song about me and Jeff. I can see that in the works coming up.
Yeah. Roy and Jeff and Roy, right?
Yeah.
Let me
See,
think- let me think
it just
about that.
has that spark.
Yeah, that RJ. That's I have to put it together. R&J. R&J. Rockin' Jocks. There you go. Rockin' Jocks. Got it, RJ. So that's a start. Rockin' Jocks. There you go.
I think this is going to be an instrumental.
But I appreciate you asking me to come on for the second time. And
Great.
I get you ask me something and I'll go off. So I hope I didn't wander too far.
Oh,
And,
fantastic. One of the
Yeah,
best.
what I like about you was, by the way, never. What I like about you was never in the top 40. It never reached the top 40. It was like in 74 or something like that. I think it was
But
47.
it's
or
always
something.
there. It never went away.
It wasn't.
Yeah, and it was really organic. It was really organic the way it happened. It didn't. There was no like mass $1 million put in for ads on Billboard or ads in a big billboard or there was nothing. Romantics never had that. Romantics were a working class band, and we really just were on the road a lot. We just worked our butt off, and the song got picked up by Bud Light, and then all of a sudden MTV happened. And I was going to tell you is I was watching something on cable that was I know how MTV started, but it started showing some of the inside stuff about how they geared it up and got it rolling really. And I'm thinking, wow, how they got Mick Jagger to say, I want my MTV. And he goes, you got to pay me for this. And then he was pushing for money. And then they go, well, how about $1? They gave him $1. He says, all right, I'll take that. So he said, I want my MTV for $1. Anyway, me seeing that, and I'm thinking back, this was a month ago, I'm thinking how big MTV was. And it kind of threw me for a loop because I never really thought about it, that how the widespread viewership of it around the world. It's like, whoa, I mean,
So now you want your
I
dollar.
never really zeroed in on it at the time because while you're doing it, you're thinking, I'm not thinking like, I'm not egoed out thinking, wow, MTV, I'm going to be on them. You're thinking, this is fun. I mean, let's go do it. You're not thinking about the other side of it. You're thinking about the work of it. And so it's just amazing to me, the expanse of viewership.
So did you get
we
your
got.
dollar? Because Mick got his dollar. Did you get your
I
dollar?
didn't get my $1.
Oh,
In fact, we gave roses to, what's her name? What's the girl that was on there? I forget. Martha Quinn.
Martha Quinn. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Shame
Yeah,
on
we
you. Did you enjoy doing the videos on MTV?
Yeah, they got really expensive. That was the really bad thing. They got really expensive, and everybody was trying to outdo everybody with the money and the clothes and the look. When they were forgetting about, I think we got away from the raw, straight ahead rawness of like the first video. I would, the really straight ahead rock and roll vibe. I think it got away when you're doing stuff in a soda shop and you're doing stuff on a beach or you're doing. It's kind of away from it for me. I like the rock and roll energy of live
Very
shows.
cool. Very cool videos. I mean, but now that
Yeah, they were good. They were really good.
No, the one song wasn't in the top 40. We don't want to talk to you anymore. we thought you were a bigger deal.
yeah.
What I like about you, I think-
Mickey.
Yeah, I came to rehearsal hall late, and I didn't have a car. My car was broke down. My mom dropped me off. It was in the fall, and came to our little storefront, which is now a Pizza Hut. our little storefront, which Jimmy had set up all dark with lights over his head so we could see his hair, and for lights over us so we could look good. And it was like a stage setting, like a club, but it was really a long room and a couch on one end, and little doodads sit chairs and stuff, and all our equipment set up like we're on stage. And I came over, got dropped off, and Jimmy was just there, just Jimmy and me. And I go, "What's going on?" He goes, "Those guys aren't here yet." And I go, "Well, I got an idea here. I was working on something I got it at my dad's house." And I go, "Here, this is this." And he played his beat. The way he played his beat, I could always come up with something really, really on guitar. I switched over from bass to guitar for the Romantics because there were no guitar players in Detroit that wanted to play the simple Chuck Berry rock and roll Beatles stuff. And so I came with this 3-chord thing. I go, "Here, check this out." And he goes, "Man, this is great." He starts singing words. So he's writing lyrics, and I'm finishing the song up, and voila, What I Like About You. And I think he came up with the title on the next rehearsal, and those guys came in from getting a burger or something, Wally and Rich, and we told them, "Here, check this out. We got a song." And What I Like About You happened. So
This music stuff's easy.
Yeah.
it's
I
easy
tell
when
you.
you don't.
I guarantee you, if you write that song about me and Jeff, I'll give you $2. Not just $1, but
I'll
$2.
hold you to it. I'm going to send you that. I'm going to send it to you. Yeah. So Jimmy and me rocked it out at the time without thinking.
Be awesome.
Outstanding.
Mike, thanks so much for taking the time.
Thanks, man. Thanks to you.
Things going. Keep us in tune with what's happening, and we'll definitely be touching base with you again to see where you are, and maybe you'll be touring right through Arkansas sometime.
I've got a new single coming out on my birthday. Boy, should I announce this or not?
Go
Oh,
ahead,
yeah,
do it,
come
Mike.
on.
Do
My
it.
wife just said no.
Oh,
I got a new single coming out on my birthday, July 16th, and it's going to be really good. You
Perfect.
guys are going to love it.
We are looking forward to it. Mike, thanks you so much. Be safe. Stay. COVID's still out there, so be
Yeah.
careful.
Yeah, thank you very much for that. You guys too. Be safe with your families and everybody, and God bless you, and rock and roll.
If you come to Arkansas, we'll hook you up with some ribs and beer just for you.
There you go.
You're paying for it, but that's
The
okay.
root beer. I'll have a real good root beer.
Sounds good. Thanks, Mike. Be safe, my friend.
Thanks, you guys.
Here, man.
Pleasure. Take care.